Hi, I'm Ilkay and I'm going to be talking about my placement journey and kind of share my experience with you for those who want to do a placement, for those who don't know how and when to apply, or if you don't know if it's worth doing one. So hopefully this will help answer a lot of the questions that you might have right now. So just a quick background, I'm currently working as a junior designer at a company called Penson, and we do a lot of commercial design, so a lot of workplace and hotels. So I always knew that I wanted to do a placement. That was kind of my goal, and I started doing my CV and portfolio around January, so this time last year. Honestly, don't leave this to the last minute because it's not something you can do overnight. It takes time. It's something that you will keep going back to and keep developing, and it's probably the most important part of the whole placement process. It's what's going to be representing you, what you're going to be sending to these companies, these employers. And another thing I would say with your CV especially, don't overload it, don't make it so long, hard to read. Make it simple, straight to the point, and be creative about it. One thing I want to mention is I remember being quite worried and stressed about not having enough work to put in my portfolio at this point. But don't worry, because you will have your second project in second year to add to your CV, your portfolio as you go along. And this is why I think it's really good to start thinking about what types of companies to apply to. So I kind of based my second project in second year on that. And when you are doing your second project, try to develop a new skill, try to do something that you haven't done before. Maybe look at your portfolio and think, what don't I have in my portfolio? I based my entire second project of second year on SketchUp and developed that skill, so it kind of broadened my portfolio. It wasn't just Photoshop, it wasn't just drawings, it was also SketchUp. So it's really good to develop a new skill at this point. The next big step for me was the preparation to apply. So this is the point where I really started thinking about, where do I want to apply, where do I want to work. For me, I guess I was quite specific on the places I applied to, and I know that some of my friends were not as specific, so you can completely leave it open. But for me, it helped for me to narrow it down because there are so many companies and it can get overwhelming. So the next big step for me was the actual applying, and I started applying in April, and up to this point I was still changing my CV, still adding to my portfolio, and I applied to about 10 or 11 places. Some people will apply to more, and that's completely fine. One thing I would say at this point is you need to be super organized because you're applying to so many places and it can get confusing. I actually called the companies up and I just asked them if they have an email I can send my CV and portfolio to. And don't be afraid to do this. I know I was. Making a phone call does really make a difference. They will remember you, and you just email them and with a cover letter, with your CV, with your portfolio. And that's why I said you have to be super organized, because you need to make sure that you attach all the files, you do the cover letter to the right person. If they don't reply to you, which is normal, it happens, it's happened to me, you just chase them up after about a week or two. So majority of the responses I got was that they didn't need anyone, or they already had an intern. But it's funny because the top two that I really wanted to work at was the two that actually responded to me. One gave me an interview offer, and the second one, Penson, gave me a 4-week placement. So after uni, I started my placement at Penson, and 3 weeks in, I had my interview at the other place, and that place actually accepted me and gave me an offer for a 1-year placement. And 3 weeks into Penson, they also wanted me to stay. I had 2 offers that I had to decide on, and I had to make a decision. And so it worked out perfect in the end. And not all places will respond. It's reality, it's what will happen in the future, but it's completely normal, and you just need to carry on applying, and eventually you will find a place. Just a little bit about the interview process. So I would say definitely go really prepared, but don't overthink it. I think the interview process is mainly about personality and not so much about your work, because they've already seen your work. But yeah, be prepared, be confident, be organized. I just want to finish off talking about what I do now. And for those who are wondering if it is worth doing a placement and taking a year out, I would say 100% yes, it is worth it. You learn so much. You couldn't even compare uni to work. Complete different worlds. Everything suddenly becomes so real. You work on such big projects. And they are all real. You know, you go on site visits, you see a project going from, you know, drawing plans to actual buildings. Been developing so many skills, and I feel like it's really prepared me for third year and for the future as well. And also, it's interior design is such, I didn't know, but it's such a social industry. You know, there's so many events to go to, you meet so many people, you never know what can happen and what can be offered to you after you graduate. Yeah, so I hope that this has helped, and good luck in your placement search. And just remember again that there is no right way of doing it, there is no wrong way of doing it. Do it your own way. And yes, I hope this wasn't too long, and thank you for watching.